Ghost towns. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. We have another hard hitter. Pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. We're just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we have a massive issue going on with this housing market. Are you seeing what's going on? We are at that razor's edge, that tipping point that I've been talking about. It's insane. I know most of you that are here at the channel absolutely 100% see what's going on, but I know many people do not. And it's our job to continue to raise awareness, sound the alarm, and ring the bell and let people know you're in a housing bubble. And historically, anytime a bubble has been produced, they've ultimately crashed. This is insane. I just sometimes I can't even believe the things that I have to report on. It's so serious. It's so very, very serious. So folks, today we have to look at what's typically come around the corner. And this in fact could happen sooner than later, but it ultimately will happen. It's always happened every time we've gotten ourselves into a housing bubble. Again, you know, we do want to hopefully be able to reassess the market once we can get through whatever's coming. And hopefully have opportunity to go buy. I mean, that's the reality. All millionaires were built not at buying at the top of a bubble, but buying outside the bubble. So that is my goal for you. I hope you guys understand that. I know for me to maintain my wealth, I have to make you wealthy, and I'm determined I can do that. So that's exactly what we'll be doing here today and with the channel. So the realities are, folks, here's what's super exposed and how, in fact, you will see entire neighborhoods become virtual ghost towns. It's going to be really insane. So one of the things that we have, folks, is a lot of builders building homes, brand new homes, huge developments. These are brand new homes that have brand new sales occurring in them. So people in these big tracts, these big housing tracts, these new pop-ups that are springing up all over America, builders and investors are rushing to try to deliver these homes to ride this real estate bubble. But unfortunately, they're now on borrowed time as the market softens and a recession is hitting and more people are becoming aware of it, people dropping out of the markets, interest rates rising, you name it. We have so many things now that are threatening the U.S. housing market. So typically what happens, we can look at the last bubble and some of the blowback that occurred from that to really get a pretty good temperature check on what's going to happen in this one. And what will happen, folks, is these new big developments where people just bought at the height of the bubble. And a lot of them with minimum amounts down, very exposed. There's no chance of them renting their properties out and maybe having a renter make those payments because their payments are much bigger than what those properties would rent for. Never smart. You know, rule number one in real estate is always check a property's rent range when you're buying a house. Even if it's your primary home, it's nice to make sure that payment is in or around the property's rent range. It's just an added level of security for us. So what we'll see, folks, is the first dominoes to potentially fall are going to be the people that bought the bubble in these brand new housing tracts. And so as they start to fall, what will happen is banks, first of all, they'll just rush to market, then they'll chase the market, and then they'll be unable to get off market. And then eventually banks take a hold of those homes, and then they hire real estate agents to come get them off the books. And so what typically happens is it ends up being like an epidemic. It spreads like wildfire because this is the reality, folks. Once you see these signs start popping up on every other house, it's a bad look for a neighborhood. People get very nervous, even if you think you're at the bottom of the market. And this is what happened in the last housing bubble. These big developments that popped up overnight started to fall first, and then the next thing you know, there's for sale signs on every corner, and then pretty soon people just started walking away from homes. And it was a full cleanup effort after that. And the reality is, even if you had a $500,000 home, we'll say at the height right now, and then after the fall, these neighborhoods start to have for sale signs pop up in distressed homes and people just leaving, what we could see, let's say they come down to $100,000. Well, you'll have a hard time venturing into a neighborhood that looks like a war zone, because that's what ends up happening. They end up having people come strip these houses of copper or appliances. They're exposed. It's just a bad look for the neighborhood. And so even if they come down to $100,000, a lot of times people are like, I don't know if I even want to live in a place like this. It gets that bad. That is exactly what happened in the last housing bubble. Those are, in fact, the houses that got hit the hardest was the new construction, these developments. Because the reality is if you have an existing neighborhood where people maybe bought their house a long time ago, well, they're fine. But any of these new housing tracts are all new buyers, and they all bought in the height of a real estate bubble. So they will be the ones to, in fact, get hit the hardest. And you have to understand that, folks. Again, this is insane. There's no escaping this one. We're in a housing bubble. Builders are rushing to build homes. People are getting underneath huge payments in the height of a real estate bubble in these new housing tracts. As soon as the dominoes fall, they're naturally the ones that fall first. And so as we see this, it's just really serious. As we see this, people are going to have to start moving out of these housing tracts. It's just the law of gravity. And right now, the housing market is, in fact, defying gravity. We are defying gravity. Even the federal government is saying we need to cool the housing market down. And it's just that tipping point. When you have inflation as a runaway train, the only way to cool it off is raising interest rates. But again, that's going to spook the markets. This one's teetering on a razor's edge. Congratulations to anybody that's been with the channel for a while, because, as an agent, as much as I owe a lot of what I have today to real estate. And I know 95% of all millionaires made their money in real estate, but it wasn't buying at the height of a real estate bubble. It was buying outside of a real estate bubble. So unfortunately, every time there's been a boom in the housing market, it's produced new agents, it's produced new buyers, it's produced become euphoric, and FOMO has always kicked in. It's just something that happens. So when I saw that, I had to come and start warning people and let you know, this isn't organic growth. This was an artificially stimulated market, stock market included, and they're now teetering on a razor's edge. We've been saying that, and we're seeing it play out in front of our very eyes. So again, folks, in final thoughts today, I want to let you know, new housing tracts, these builders and investors will in fact take huge, huge hits. They're unemotional in this. They're fine with, they're not fine with it. A lot of them will go bankrupt. But we're going to see a lot of people that bought in the height in these big housing tracts. They're all full of new buyers that bought the bubble. They will fall first, and these neighborhoods will turn into ghost towns, and people will be afraid to come buy in those, even in a decline, because who wants to live in a ghost town where you don't even feel safe and you just see the writing on the wall? This one's going to be insane. The last housing bubble took at least 10 years to correct and recover from the crash that came in the 08 era. This one's bigger. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a little longer, and just as fast as this bubble was created, it can fall just as fast. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of the video if you'd like more access to me, along with other videos, channels that I've appeared on I think you would enjoy. As always, thank you for your time today. Please go make it count. We'll see you on the next video.